All right. Hey, good evening, everybody, and welcome to our weekly show. We call it Three Broke Guys Handicapping, where we review one of the top racing cards from around the United States. We will select a four-race sequence from that track and attempt to come to a consensus on a pick four ticket. Thank you for joining us, and we are headed back to Kentucky, where we're going to be playing the all-stakes pick four from Churchill Downs racetrack in Louisville, Kentucky. That pick four starts with race number 6, and it finishes in race number 9. And that includes both the Fleur and the Stephen Foster Handicap. My name is Rich Sharp, and each week I'll be joined by my friends and racing analysts. And with it being Father's Day, and Father's Day coming up this weekend, I can honestly say I'm handicapping with two of the best dads that I know. One of them is not quite on the air just yet, so hopefully Ray Torado from Staten Island is going to be catching up with us shortly. But already on the air with us here is Joe English, and he is from Temecula, California. How you doing tonight, Joe?
I'm doing well, Rich. Thanks. How about yourself?
I'm doing pretty good, buddy. Happy Father's Day, my friend.
Yeah, same to you. And to all the fathers and listening out there or watching, whether live or on the rebroadcast.
Couldn't agree any more with you. As I said earlier, my name is Rich Sharp, and I would be remiss if I did not congratulate the connections of the 2016 Belmont Stakes winner, Creator. And if Ray was here, I'd give him congratulations for picking the winner in the Belmont Stakes. And he was trained by Steve Asmussen. Joe, I believe, was that Javier Castellano, I think it was? Or
no, it was that Ryan Ortiz Jr.
All right, now we're going to turn our attention to Churchill Downs. Once again, we're going back into Kentucky. These are what I like to think of as the Summer Stakes series of races. And the very first weekend up is going to be under the Twin Spires in Louisville, Kentucky. Now, everybody, we are currently looking for someone to handle our very small weather segment that we do each week on this show. So if any of you who are watching this show or anybody who watches the show afterward, if you know someone who's interested in broadcast meteorology, who'd like some broadcast time on this show, please let us know either via the chat or reach out to the Three Broke Guys on Twitter. And until then, we have this very brief update. So I'm going to share this with you. I'm going to share my screen very quickly. Okay, let me see if I can get my screen to play correctly here. Hold on 1 second.
I guess it's on autoplay.
There it goes. Thank you, Lily. And of course, that is my good friend Joe English's daughter, Lily English. Thanks.
Yeah, she was looking forward to doing it, and I said, "Well, do you want to do it?" She's like, "Yeah, sure." Now she's on YouTube, and she's all happy about it. So
I'm sure she is. Hang on 1 second. Let me get my computer to stop playing music back there in the background.
No problem. Maybe Ray will jump in. And we hope Ray.
And as you saw there, Lily was willing to fill in for us. Of course, it's Father's Day, so she's willing to do anything to help her dad out. But we are looking for a weather person to go ahead and fill in that segment. It'll be something anywhere from 30 to 60 seconds, just like you saw Lily doing there. We're looking for the weather from the local racetrack that we're going to be handicap on that week. And we would encourage you to feel free to go ahead and spruce it up and make it personal for yourself. And again, just reach out to us either via the chat that's available on this page or Three Broke Guys on Twitter. Again, back to Louisville, Churchill Downs. There's a total of 11 races, including 5 stakes on tap for Saturday. And for tonight, we are focused on the pick 4. It begins in race number 6 with the Fleur and it concludes with the appropriately named Regret Stakes in race number 9. I usually say gentlemen, so tonight I'm just going to say Joe until we get Ray on here, but the gates are locked and loaded. Shall we go ahead and get started?
Spring the latch.
Race number 6, it's the Fleur A mile and eighth on the main track. It's a grade 1 for fillies and mares, 3-year-olds and upwards. The purse is $200,000. 6 starts, and your morning line favorite, well, she's a bit of a celebrity in racing circles, and she's in post number 1. They call her untappable. Joe, it is your honor.
Well, I guess I'm the only one. It's got to be my honor. I'm the only choice you got. Okay. I'm wasn't sure exactly what the schedule was going to be, so I wasn't sure if I was going to be talking about this race first. But I guess I have to go and mention Untappable. I'm not saying she's my pick because I kind of think she might be a little vulnerable. She has been working regularly, and she was flattered by Forever Unbridled second place finish to cavorting in the Phipps Stakes on the Belmont undercard. She probably has a pace advantage over this field. She will probably save ground based on the fact that she drew the rail. She worked a bullet drill 2 drills ago on June 6th at 111 and 4/5. She's undefeated in 3 starts at Churchill, including the Kentucky Oaks. And she's got speed figures that tower over pretty much everybody in this field, at least the buyer speed figures do. But I just kind of think she's vulnerable based on the last effort in the Apple Blossom. I thought she got away with a slow pace and she should have lasted, but she didn't. And one of the horses that she beat that day, Call Pat, actually got to her in her first start off the layoff. And last year she throttled Call Pat in the Apple Blossom. And the other thing that got me is that last year she improved in between the 2 races at Oaklawn. From the Azeri to the Apple Blossom, she actually got better. Her speed figure at least improved. This year that didn't happen. I wouldn't be honest if I didn't say if you'd have to use her. I don't have a problem with people using her, but with the races coming up with the plethora of odds-on morning line favorites that we're going to see, I think the ticket would not pay enough. And like I said, I just think Untappable is vulnerable. And I'm actually going way outside the box here. I would go with a single here, and it's really going to be kind of an odd single, I would think. It's the number 3 paid up subscriber. She is undefeated at Churchill Downs. She's 2 for 2. The races were at lower levels, obviously. She is an example of the 3 broke guys angle, winning a non-winners of 2 optional claimer in her last start, and this is her 3rd start off the layoff. Her breeding suggests that she should benefit from the extra furlong, going from a mile to a mile and an eighth. That shouldn't be a problem. Actually, it should help her. The barn is 7 for 30 with 18 in the money finishes in the last 30 days. So Al Stahl's barn's doing very well. And the price should be attractive. She's going to be 8-1 morning line. And if somehow she can beat Untappable, you're going to get more than 8-1 in the pick 4. Because I think a lot of people, 90 to 95% of the tickets are going to have Untappable on it. If you can beat Untappable, you're going to get paid regardless of what happens in the next 3 legs, even if the next 2 morning line favorites do happen to win. So, like I said, it's a way outside the box. It's a stretch, but I would actually single paid up subscriber just based on the points that I mentioned earlier. And again, Untappable is what she is, and she could easily win this race by 7. But at 3 to 5 or thereabouts, I'm willing to take a stand against it. Rich, what do you think of Untappable and any other horses that are running in this race?
And I will let you know, viewers, that Ray is on his way. So very soon we will have our 3rd broke guy, so you will not just listen to me and Joe ping-ponging all night long.
Awesome.
All right. So I will step in here and tell you that, as I mentioned in the opening, Untapped, she's a bit of a superstar. She would have fit into the trivia question, but I'm assuming that folks are probably starting to get sick of that trivia question. But this is a 3 broke guys horse. Untappable was another one of those horses. As a matter of fact, we cast the pick 4 on the Breeders' Cup Day when Untappable hit her winning race that day. So the 3 broke guys did in fact see Untappable. Joe hit on all of those. She loves Churchill Downs. She thinks it's her track. She's 3 for 3. There's not very many that have actually gone a mile and an eighth on the dirt so far. It's kind of a unique distance for the fillies and the mares. You don't see a whole lot of them going that way. Untappable's already gone that time 11 times. She's got 2 wins. She's gone 6 times. She's got 2 wins, 2 seconds in her first. So she's one of the few that's in here that you see that's got quite a few tries at it. And so she's going to be tough to beat. This is Steve Asmussen's baby, so to speak. That being said, a couple of weeks ago, we were at Penn National. We actually hit the pick 4 when we were at Penn National. And we found out that the Grant Field or Grandview track is about 10 miles away from Hershey, Pennsylvania. And I made a comment to Joe and Ray at that point, and I said, that's about the only thing that could get me away from the track is the chocolate that's over there at that Hershey, Pennsylvania. And so, interestingly enough, this one almost comes in as a hunch play, but I did not go the way that Joe did. I was looking at the very end of this program. So again, I like to go to this summary. There haven't been a whole lot of races run at Churchill that have gone this distance. Only 8 races so far that have gone to 9 furlongs. None of them have been won wire to wire, by the way. So 0 for 8 on wire to wire. Just 25%, 2 for 8 going to the E or EP type. So not even like you need to get to the front. Up until yesterday, this number was up to the 70s. It just changed today, down to 63 and 13. So what I am saying is that on this one, it's one of those rare days where this is actually a 76% winner for off the pace types. So for whatever reason, you do not want to be on the lead in these mile and an eighth races. In that particular case, all you see are E and EP types. There's a P that's here. Engagingly would actually fit to the 63% if you like just to play that number straight, or if you like to group those together like I do, and you're looking for an off the pace type, and you happen to love chocolate, then there's a horse that's just sitting right here in your face. And folks, just remember, for me to settle on odd chocolate means that I didn't even talk about the California horse at my time. There's a horse named Big Book in here, Tim Yaktine, Del Mar, Santa Anita, all over the place, classy filly as well. But I settled on the horse that came from Neil Howard, off the pace, Brian Hernandez. They hit 27% together, so a nice trainer-jockey combination for the two of them there. This horse also likes Churchill Downs, 2 wins, 1 second. This is the other horse that has gone a mile and 1/8, and again, 2 wins and a third from 3 tries, going a mile and 1/8. A unique distance for fillies at this point in time. So I believe that was my top pick for this one was the 4. So I put the 4 on top, but I was not willing to go as Joe did and toss Untappable. I think she's too classy at this point in the game.
Oh, Richard, believe me, if there weren't 2 other odds-on favorites coming up in the next 2 races, I would probably have used her myself. Like I said, she's got a lot of stuff going for her, and there are a lot of things in her favor. I just don't see playing a ticket unless we punch it 40 or 50 times. Playing a ticket with 3 to 5 Untappable, 4 to 5 Pizza Man, 2 to 5 FNX. If that's the case, I'll watch paint dry. It's the same thing to me.
All righty. I do not think I saw Ray yet, but I did get a text message. So we will catch up with Ray Tarado's picks on the Fleur de Lis. Joe singled the 3. I went with chocolate and number 1 Untappable as my backup pick there.
Okay, let's get going. Let's keep going until Mr. Tirado happens to show up.
Yep. We'll catch him up, and we're going to move on to race number 7. This is a cool named race. This was a cool racehorse, the Wise Dan Stakes, one of my favorite turf horses of all time. A mile and a 16th on the turf. Interesting that they'd go a mile and a 16th, but grade 2 for 3-year-olds and upwards. This purse is $200,000, 11 starters, and your morning line favorite is, well, it's yet another celebrity in racing circles. He is in post number 2 at odds of 6 to 5. It's the Pizza Man. And Joe, on to you.
Yeah, I wish I had a pizza right about now, actually. It's funny to fill a couple of seconds. If you saw Tepin win at Ascot earlier this week, congratulations to her and her connections, Mark Cassie and the gang over there. There was a lot of Twitter talk about would you take Wise Dan versus Tepin going a mile at Keeneland or Churchill Downs. I can't remember which it was, but just for fun, if y'all want to chime in, comment on our YouTube video, who would you take? Please go, feel free, or tweet us at 3 Broke Guys on Twitter. But anyway, I'll move on. The only reason I mention is because this is the Wise Dan Stakes. I guess I'll talk about the Pizza Man first. I think he's the second most likely winner, not of this race, but of the 3 morning line favorites. I think he's the second most likely winner. I was surprised to see, because most of his fame, I think, was built on long distance races. I was really surprised to see that he's 8 of 10 at a mile and a 16th, and he's a 16-time winner. If you look at some of the horses in this race, they haven't even run 16 times. So he's a 16-time winner. He finished fast in that last race, despite the fact that he was not one of the leaders. He finished in under 12 seconds, so he's not necessarily lost anything. He's been facing some really good ones. Big Blue Kitten, Golden Horn, and Found in the Breeders' Cup Turf last year. Definitely multiple Grade 1 and Grade 2 placed. Fleur and Giroux gets back aboard today. I believe Castellano was on last time. Maybe that had something to do with the fact that he didn't run well. He runs well fresh generally. He did not last time. He can basically run. It seems as if you can put him anywhere in the race, whether it's near the back of the pack, up near the front. He could even actually be on the lead. But there are some red flags. He did miss a work about a week ago, or at least it looks like he missed a work. I was unable to check to see if there was some kind of weather issue that would have caused that. He also had about a 2-month break in between works. Hey Ray, he had a 2-month break in between works. He didn't work at all in March or through late April, and maybe that also contributed to the fact that he was short last time. And being that he's 7 years old, he is a gelding, but 7-year-olds generally don't improve with racing. At least I wouldn't think so. And he disappointed in his last at 6-5. So I tried to come up with a couple of alternatives. Like I said, I think he's the second most reliable odds-on favorite that we're going to see in this pick 4. But I have 2 alternatives. One is the 5, Conquest Typhoon, who was in contention for 3/4 of a mile in the Dixie, and he was running on the dead rail that day. If you remember, it was a lot of rain that day, and I've seen a lot of reports that have indicated that the rail might have been the worst part of the track. So take that into consideration. Takeover Target, who won that race, is actually running in the Poker Stakes at Belmont earlier in the day tomorrow. So please monitor that and handicap accordingly. You might make the adjustments. If he can go out and beat, obviously, who's probably going to be on the lead in that race, maybe you might want to upgrade Conquest Typhoon's chances. He also ran in the Maker's Mark, and the winner of that race, Miss Temple City, ran a creditable 4th in the Duke of Cambridge at Ascot earlier this week. And the winner of that race, Graham Motion labeled the winner, her name is Usherette, as a monster, and she's 6 for 7 lifetime. Tourist, who finished 3rd in the Maker's Mark, narrowly got beat by Midnight Storm in the Shoemaker Mile at Hollywood Park after shipping cross country. So he's obviously flattered by some of those performances. And Mark Cassie's 9 for 24, which is 38%, 7 in the money finishes, 7 extra in the money finishes in the last 30 days at Churchill Downs. And he's 6-1 on the morning line. So if you can get him home and maybe beat the Pizza Man, that might be worth the value. My other alternative is another off-the-wall shot. Number 10, Casaqui, I think is the pronunciation. And I'm going to the race 2 back because obviously the fall in the Woodford Reserve Turf Classic is not indicative of what he can do. But he was in contention in that race. He was between horses about 2 lengths off the lead when the incident occurred. Unfortunately, if you watch the race, the incident occurred at an angle at a point in the race that you couldn't see it from the pan shot. So I don't know exactly what happened. But anyway, in the allowance race that he won 2 back, he beat a horse named Can't Help Believin'. Can't Help Believin' came back to run 3rd, beating less than 2 lengths in the Wake Forest win in the Man of War, and he earned a 99 Beyer speed figure that day. That was before Wake Forest was scratched in favor of the United Nations last week. The trainer is 3 for 15 with 7 in the money finishes in the past 30 days, so the barn's not doing poorly. He was, but the other 2 other, I'm sorry, I skipped that. 2 other horses that he beat. Bullard's Alley won the Grade 3 Louisville at 12 furlongs by 2 lengths, earning a 94 Beyer speed figure. And Trace Creek came back to win the Grade 3 Hanshin Cup on synthetic at Arlington Park 2 weeks after. So that allowance race turned out to be pretty strong. And he, again, like I said, he was in contention 2 lengths back in between horses when he fell during the Woodford Reserve Turf Classic. And he's been working regularly since, so it doesn't look like the fall has taken anything out of him. And yes, he's a stretch, but he's 12-1 morning line. And to be honest, he may drift up to more like 15 or 20-1. Again, it's not trying to knock the pizza man. I'm just trying to give people alternatives if they want to spread, or if they agree with me that the pizza man isn't 100% infallible, which none of them are. Ray, I'm not sure if you wanted to jump in. Can you want to jump in? For we're up to the.
Oh yeah. The
We're
wise
up.
Dan.
Yeah, we're up to the wise Dan.
Yeah, sure, no problem. Well, this one is pick 4 6. So actually, I want to mention race 6. So I'm late. I'll tell you the reason later.
No worries.
I would go with Untappable, number 1. 7-5. She runs here against 6 Westfield. She can handle this very easily. Hasn't been informed this year, but she has lost twice. Odds on 3 for 3 at Churchill, so she handled the track well. I don't think we could go past this chalk. So if we had to look elsewhere to beat her, I would try and recommend number 6, Brooklands Way. Based on the jockey switch, LeBrew, and her second trip at 9 furlongs. Her buys are up on dirt from her races on synthetic. Also out chocolate, 2-1, 2 for 3 at Churchill, and 2 for 3 at 9 furlong distance. So those pretty. Now for the Wise Dam, the way this pick 4 shapes out, perhaps a heavy favorite in the 3 legs. So this is the race that I want to spread because I want to try and beat the pizza man, like you said. And I kind of agree with you, Joe. Conquest Typhoon, number 5, had some trouble with a trip in the Dixie, and she tired late. Mark Cassidy switched back to Joe Bravo for this race. This field might be a little lighter than the previous 2 that she had, Dixie and the Maker's Mark. And also number 3, Granny's Kitten, another one of those Ramsey horses who's going long as a 3-year-old in some big races. Got a win for confidence booster last time, and she could do well. Or 3rd race off a layoff. Gary Stevens gets the mount. And also number 10, Casigui, Argentine import, goes close to pace when, as you could, like Joe mentioned, fell in the Turf Classic. After a solid allowance win, steps up here and can surprise that prize. So I would go 5, 3, and 10. Try and beat the pizza man. All right, Rich, you gonna do the Wise Dam?
I do. I got.
How are you? I had a little difficulty getting on, so.
No problem at all. So glad to have you here. Happy Father's Day to you. A little delayed.
Happy Father's Day to you too. Yes, thank you.
All right, and as you guys heard me allude to during the kind of the prelim for this race, if you like, I'm of the opinion that the Pizza Man is a bit of a superstar. Again, there's a couple of them in here today. So we had Untappable. She's been around for a couple of years. In this one, you get the Pizza Man. Incidentally, you get another one of those darn 3 broke guys horses. So here's yet another horse that we, the 3 of us, have actually seen. The Conquest Typhoon, who's the number 5 horse. We sort of passed that Peter Stefan Santa Anita that we saw. But I ended up settling on the number 2. I just couldn't go by the Pizza Man here. If he's not up to his best, as you heard Joe and Ray alluding to, and he's vulnerable, then this is the race that you can try and score in. For me, individually, this would be the race that I'm singling in. I'm not going to try and get past the Pizza Man here. He delivers. You've heard all the cliches out there on TVG and on the horse racing channels like that about him delivering. And on top of that, he likes to go all over the country. So this is a horse who shipped from one coast to the other, up and down. He started off at Arlington in the middle of the country. I believe he's won at Gulfstream. He's won out in California. The Pizza Man delivers wherever you need him. So he is 8 for 10 at this distance. He is, if I'm not mistaken, and I should have, I'll even share this so I can go back to the screen and stuff like that. I like the summary page. Back to everyone. And on the Pizza Man, I believe he had something like a 25-point prime power advantage. Again, it's not a number that I look at as an absolute that's down here and things like that. But I do tell people when you see it start to get more than 10 points, it's something to take note of. And when you start to see things like 20 and 25 points, it really wants to make you just raise that eyebrow up. If I was going to use a second horse to back up the Pizza Man, and you've already heard about him and all the reasons that we like him, and it's the same thing that when we liked him 2 years ago when we saw them together. It's Conquest Typhoon, Mark Casse, Joe Bravo. He's a stalking type, very classy. And again, that last race, he's just 2 1/4 lengths off from Takeover Target, Ring Weekend, and Grand Arch. And if you go back and you watch that race, it was a bit of a clustered finish. They were all right there. Everybody was right up on top of each other. So I would think Conquest Typhoon. So I think I did single. I singled here, but 2-5 if I was going to go with an A and a B. So I have Joe down with. Let's see, Joe, were your A picks here the 2, the 5, and the 10?
In my own personal pick, I would have spread a little bit. I would have gone the 2 and the 5 and the 10. Yes.
And I've got Ray down with the 5, the 3, and the 10.
Yeah.
And then I've just got me with
I mean,
the
a B pick is a number 2 also, Pizza Man. There's a B pick, but we're trying to beat him in this race, so.
Alrighty. That is going to send us on to race number 8. That's the big one on the day. That's the Stephen Foster handicap. It's 1.125 miles on the main track. Grade 1 for 3-year-olds and upwards, and the purse is $500,000. 7 starters, and your even money morning line favorite. This is our old friend FNX. Back to you, Joe.
Okay. Our old friend FNX. Well, I think he's actually probably the most likely of the morning line favorites to get the trophy and get the money at the end of the day. 3 of 6 wins at the distance, including the Clark handicap at this track, at this distance last November. He's been working regularly since the Oaklawn win, so no problems there. And if you go back to the Santa Anita handicap, we heard that he had hives the day of the race, so that accounts for probably his worst performance of late. So I'm willing to discount that. Plus, maybe a mile and a quarter is not what he wants to do, but again, I think it's more the hives than anything else. He switches to Gary Stevens. Not sure why Mike Smith isn't making the trip. I'm not sure where Mike Smith is at this point, to be honest with you. But he's won grade 1s and he's got 2 grade 2 wins, and he should sit a perfect trip right off the speed. And so he fits this track profile nicely. The only thing real negative about him is that he's got a spot weight to this field. And there are a couple in this field that could make it interesting. And I'm just, again, I think FNX would be as close to a single as I'm going to find amongst the three odds-on morning line favorites. But I'm going to give everybody, hopefully, an alternative. And that's the number 4, Majestic Harbor. He actually won the 2014, what is now called the Santa Anita Gold Cup. He actually beat Game On Dude that day. And he had a 111 buyer speed figure that day. So he had some class back in his day. He's 4 of 9 at Churchill Downs. He actually closed into what was a reasonable or a slowish pace to win the Alysheba. So the form is actually very good. He worked on June 9th, a nice 5 furlongs in a minute and 2. Corey Lannery is hot, 8 of 26 the past 10 days. And he's 5 to 1. You're probably going to get every bit of that, and heck, you may even drift up a little bit more depending on what happens at the windows. I would think you'll get at least 5 to 1. So again, I just wanted to give everybody an alternative. If I was going to play my own pick 4 ticket, I would include both horses because I think Majestic Harbor does actually have a chance. Rich alluded to the 1 1/8 not necessarily being a place where you want to be on the lead, but because he's changed his tactics a little bit. He used to be go, go, go from the gate. Now he's actually reverted to somewhat of a stalker. So he should be able to sit off the pace and maybe run down FNX, who probably would get the lead off the far turn in this spot. But maybe he can get up and maybe he can get there at 5 to 1. And he's got some back class, so we could do a lot worse. So that would be, I would go 3-6. And basically stand along with those 2 in the Stephen Foster. Ray, what do you have to say about the Stephen Foster? What's your opinion?
Well, of course, FNX, the likeliest of winners from the 3, like you said, I strongly believe that too. I would include him in the ticket. She has the class of the race. Well, as a favorite, he won the grade 1 clock, like you said. Yeah, you're right, guys. Stevens here, but that's really That's a toss. Yeah, it's a equal replacement. Gary
Yeah.
Stevens is great. Yeah, Hall of Famer. So, 3 for 6 the distance. It's gonna be tough down the stretch. I would like to use. I'm just gonna take a shot here. Just a hunch. El Kabir, number 5 from the Zaya Stables. Second in the dirt, going 9 furlongs. Since last year's Wood Memorial, this horse been running in sprints. Then on a turf route in Dixie, he was hustled to a lead. Back in Churchill, where he won the Kentucky Derby Juvenile. He's not as bad as horses form shows. He's 12-1. He ran well in the Aqueduct in a dirt track. I'll take a shot with him. But it's a 7 straight race with a different jockey. But I like to include him. I mean, you never know. It's horse racing, and things happen. So, number 1 international star. We've been knocking this horse this year. Now he's testing the Grade 1 waters. He led the Derby in points last year until he was hurt. He had a little brief layoff. Should run well here. Anybody could be beat. FX, could run well. He might have an off day, but I'll pick him too. Eagle also beat Noble Bird in the Grade 2 Ben Ali. Looking for his first Grade 1. He's 4 in the money at 5 races at Churchill, and he won the distance. So I would use the 3, the 5, the 1, the 7 as a B pick. Rich, we guys ever Stephen Foster? You guys came up kind of a little
Yeah, was it the 3, the 5, the 7, and you said the 1 was a B pick, right?
The 3, the 5, the 1, and the 7 is a B pick.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Up to me, and well, you guys were. I mean, there's actually a horse that's in there that kind of has the sentiment. If you're looking at the chalk that we've been hearing about and things like that, which is, are you kidding me? Unfortunately, I know what everybody wants to do, which is to try and get by the chalk. That's always something that every horse player in America is trying to do. You're looking for the angles. Unfortunately, I have the tendency to try and look beyond that and just look at the forms and see what it is that I'm looking for here. So for FNX, if you want to look at who this horse gets beat by or the kind of horses that this horse gets beat by, they're named like Toneless and Wicked Strong, or this guy, American Pharaoh. And the other ones are all wins for him. He's been right up there. The one race in question, and I hadn't heard the thing about the highs and all that. I had just assumed that it was the layoff, coming off a November to March layoff. And he hooked up what turned out to be a hot horse, Melatonin, who came right back and gave him a battle as well in the Oakland handicap, but he turned the tables on him. So I just didn't see it. I tried to get around the favorite here. I just see that FNX is in a position where it comes down to the best horse. If I was trying to get by him, if I was trying to going to try and beat that horse and try to look for a long shot, the only horses that I like to talk about as much as California horses, or even as close as maybe California horses, are the Toronto horses. So, and this was the only one I could find on this whole card. So I've got a Woodbine chipper here. Roger Affeld is one of the better trainers that's up there at Woodbine, and he's got his French-Canadian buddy Julien Leparoux on this one. I know the horse has got a lot of poly track and a lot of turf, back here. But if you look at the numbers and the stalking trip, Are You Kidding Me could fit in here. And the other one that seems to be a little bit of a new shooter, who you haven't seen with this group before, and who's got a lot of speed, would be Braidster. Unfortunately, Joe already called out, why I did not put Braidster as my #1 pick. It's that going a mile and an eighth in this one. He's got one chance at this. He's going to be on the gun right from the very beginning with Joe Bravo aboard. He will take them as far as he can go. I'm not sure if a mile and eighth. He can go a mile and eighth. Don't get me wrong. He's got that on his form. But that would be the other horse that I would take a shot with. So the 2 and the 6 as B picks behind the 3.
Rich, if that race was at if this race was at Monmouth Park, I'd be right there with you.
Yeah.
Braidster he loves Monmouth Park, from what I remember about him.
Well, and he came back. That was a very nice performance that he put up in his comeback race there, the Majestic Light, the $75,000 race. And I mean, I know it's only seven horses, but there actually was it was a fairly good pace.
Right.
And he was just on it the whole way.
Yeah, again,
And with Joe Bravo too.
well, and Monmouth is notoriously more speed favoring than Churchill will ever be.
Oh God, yes.
Oh
You
yeah,
know,
my foe.
again, a nice combination number there. You know, Eddie Keneally and Joe Bravo together.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, if the race was at Monmouth,
Yeah.
that's what you'd probably have to handicap it a completely different way.
All right, got that one, and on to the finale, and we are on to race number 9. I think that might be the appropriately named the Regret Stakes, depending on how we do in our pick 4, I guess. It's a mile and an eighth on the turf. Grade 3 for fillies and mares, and they're 3-year-olds only. So one of those restricted 3-year-old races still, even though we're a little bit later in the year. First, $100,000, 11 starters. And listen to this. Your morning line favorite at 3-1. 3-1 is in post number 11, and their name is Aunt Joy. All right, Ray, I know you joined us a little bit late, but you are up first for the Regret Stakes.
All right. Hopefully we're live by here, and we us a good shot at winning. Well, here we go. Chad Brown, number 3. 5, Noble Beauty. He's got a horse on the turf, and you know how we like Chad Brown. I do. He's becoming a turf master. This horse did his last race. First, on the Honey Rider, ran a good second, and gonna definitely improve off this race. Going a little further, stretching out to mile and eighth. Picks up Black Peru. It's definitely a good replacement from Trujillo. And this horse shows like he's gonna love the distance. More in line 7-2. And what else can you say? I've enjoyed Bred by the Ramses. Also on this ticket, I will include number 6, Try Your Luck. This is the one I was 3 BG horses here. Just won allowance race, gonna step up into a low grade 3 stake. Been running well the last 2 races. Picks up Gary Stevens, one on the turf.
Okay.
Open. So, those would be my 2 horses, 5 and 6. If I was gonna spread a little more, there would be a trio of horses to ride in the same race. Would be number 1, Gone Away, 4, Family Meeting, and 10, West Next. They all ran in the Hilltop, where the pace just collapsed, and they finished 1, 2, 3. It was a pretty good race. That was the Black Eyed Susan day, and they ran 1, 2, 3 in that race, and they could be considered. But I would use 5 and 6, and as a B pick, 1, 4, and 10. All right, Joe. This is it. The last one, the Regret Stakes.
Are you regretting that you showed up late? Anyway, we didn't actually vote on this, but I'm just kind of glad you got the toughest race of the day because of the fact that you showed up.
It was pretty tough. I mean, I was a 5 deep here at least.
You know what's funny?
The 11 horse too. You know what? We hit the all buttons.
You know what's funny? You know what's funny?
I've got chalk all over the place. I can hit as many shots as I want this race.
Actually, I ended up on the chalk. Believe it or not, I don't necessarily like the draw, but the fact that she finished second behind Catch a Glimpse, who we might know a little bit about on the Oaks Day undercard, is probably what gets her the favorites role. She was in that race. The pace was above par, and she was close to the pace, and she still finished with enough energy to. I don't know that she was going to ever beat Catch a Glimpse, but at least she got within the length. So give her a lot of credit for that. She was able to save, and the thing about it is she was able to save ground that day. And considering she's got post 11, I don't know if she's going to be able to work that same trip out. She may either have to go early. And possibly use a little bit more speed early and then get sapped late, or she's going to have to sit back a little further and then maybe loop around, and we haven't seen that from her. She's usually one who's a little bit closer to the pace, so I'm not sure what kind of trip she's going to get, and she may even drift up. I'm not sure. I would think she'll go favored, but I think she's still lukewarm at best. My second choice, my other A pick would be the Rail Runner, Gone Away. Even though that race at the Hilltop was 3, there were 3 horses pretty much neck and neck down the stretch. I like the fact that Fleur sticks with this horse. I don't expect her to bounce. She's been getting better with every race. And until she actually throws in a bad race, I'm going to believe she can still get better. And she's coming from she drew post 11 last time out. She gets the rail today, so she should be able to save all the ground that she wouldn't have gotten last time. So I think she can improve a little bit even on that last performance. So I think she's a threat based on solely on the draw by itself. So my top choices would be the 11 Anti-Joy and the 1 Gone Away. I also have 3 B picks. And basically they cover 3 of the horses that Ray covered. Noble Beauty is the Chad Brown runner, and the only reason I don't have her as an A pick is because Chad Brown does not necessarily do his best work at Churchill Downs. Yes, he can win at any track in the country. He's better elsewhere. His record is not as outstanding as at Churchill Downs as it is elsewhere. So that's why she's a B pick. And then I have to include the 2 that Gone Away just beat, Family Meeting and Wessex in the Hilltop. Family Meeting gets back to even weights today. So this would have been another one to upgrade. But then, of course, Gary Stevens goes to a different horse. So you lose Gary Stevens, you get the weight back. So to me, it's an even trade, so I'm still going to make her a B. And Wessex, unfortunately, Bill Mott gets stuck with this horse drawing wide again. She was in post 13 last time out. Today she drew post 10 of 11, and Jose Lescano goes elsewhere. Bridge Mahan has ridden for Mott successfully in the past, but this is an unfamiliar rider for this horse. So another reason, the wide draw and the new rider is another reason I would kind of take her as a B pick as opposed to Gone Away, who would be my A pick. So if I was going in my own pick 4, I would go 4 deep. I would leave Wessex out, and I would go 1, 4, 5, and 11. Again, 11 and 1 are the top choices. 4 and 5 are the B picks. Mr. Sharp?
I'm really going to have my friend Jenny consider making that little chalk-eating weasel for me at some point in time. Who's the one from Lulu's Baby Stop who made that beautiful California Chrome that's back up on the shelf for me still. This was we actually had a little text message that went on during the week, folks. So me, Joe, and Ray, we are friends. So we discuss our things ahead of time like that. I saw this coming. I just could not get away from it. I prayed that this would be the race that I would have some big, juicy, long shot that I would just be able to just roll right off my tongue. And this was the race that I had to spend a little bit more time on because the other 3 were pretty easy. Again, Pizza Man and Untappable being what I consider to be superstars in the racing circle, and FNX, just a solid pro who apparently doesn't have any kind of that kind of competition in his race like that. So I thought this would be that one race where we were really going to get a nice price. And then I ended up doing what Joe did. Catch a Glimpse has earned the nickname of Little Tepin. And if I'm not mistaken, that 3/4 of the length that Joe was talking about is the closest that anybody, boy or girl, has been able to get to Catch a Glimpse this year in 2016. The other horses that were in that race right before it, the Appalachian, Ava's Kitten, Outsider Art, they are no slouches themselves. Auntie Joy, Price to Perfection is down here. Auntie Joy's just been hitting against the most solid horses in the country now for quite a while. I know that outside post kind of is not the best, but I ended up on the 11. Auntie Joy was my top pick. My second pick, you've already heard about this horse, and that's the 5, Noble Beauty. I heard what Joe was saying about Chad Brown. I've heard this breeder right here is pretty good, and as they're getting closer to the end of the Churchill Downs meet, they not only compete for the owner's title, they compete for the breeding title, they compete for everything that's there. You heard me on one of the recaps. I told you they are racing's version of the Lannisters, and they always pay their debts. Don't leave them out if you don't have to. So, Noble Beauty, Regal Libra, and also a closer, and very solid. And her trainer is just such a good trainer. It's very hard to mount. And my third pick in here, even though I also have the 1 and the 4, so eating as much chalk as I did earlier allowed me to go as deep as I needed to go here. So I ended up settling on the 10 as well. The 10 is my third A pick here, which is Bill Mott. I'm not crazy about the fact that Jose Lescano found his way to another horse today and decided not to come back for this. But that horse ran too good to lose in the Hilltop. I'm sure it thought it had it. The problem being for this horse is I think it does need that really heated up pace again, and I'm not so sure I saw it for this race. But if it gets hot up front, I would watch out for Wessex. I would watch out for Gone Away, and I would also watch out for Family Meeting. They were all within a main of each other in that race. So I have 11, 5, 10, and then I think I also have the 1 and the 4 were covered on my ticket or in my individual. But the 1 and the 4 in mine are B's.
Yeah, I was trying, Rich. I was looking for that same thing. I was trying to find that one long shot. Looked at Quiet Business, who probably will be, I would assume, be on the lead. Looked at that actually, I'm sorry, Crooked Stick is the one who will probably be on the lead. I was looking for any kind of live long shot, and in this race, it just didn't really present itself. It looks like the 4 or 5 best horses are the 4 or 5 best horses, and the other 4 are, well, I don't know. I'm not sure what to make of them, but they're all 20-1 and above, probably for good reason.
Well, if a horse does surprise, I tell you, I would. Oh, the Crooked Stick could be. I mean, just go from gate to white. You never know. I looked at him a little bit, but
anything's possible.
Yep.
Anything, yeah,
Anything's possible.
Yeah. Anything, wow. Anything's possible. That's right.
Let me start sharing, or let's see here. I will share our template, and we can go ahead and start building our ticket together.
It's not going to be the same as last week.
Oh man.
No, well.
Frosted, what did you do? We would have won.
Frosted was a beast.
Man. We got beat by
I don't know of many horses that would have beat him that day.
No.
And to be honest with you, and this may be blasphemy on this show, I'm not sure California Chrome would have beat him. I'm not sure American Pharaoh would have beat him.
You're going to get kicked off the show and then end up beating yourself.
I'm telling you, I don't know.
1 mile.
I don't. With that performance, I don't know if anybody would have beat him that day.
That last half was.
I mean, it was amazing to watch. I mean, and I mean, we've seen some great performances. Obviously, thankfully, we've seen a Triple Crown, but that rate. I mean, give Kieran McLaughlin credit. I mean, that was just it was just unbelievable. I mean, I'm getting goosebumps now just thinking about it.
He was sprinting that last half. I tell you,
it was just
it was
sick. It was sick. But anyway.
Well, that was 3 out of 4 for us.
Yeah, who knows? Well, again, like I said, and Rich, I'm ready. I'm not sure if you joined us before. While Rich is getting the template ready, there was a lot of Twitter talk about whether Tepin would beat Wise Dan at a mile at their peaks. After Tepin won at Ascot on Tuesday, and now it's like, okay, well now considering that Wise Dan was 15 for 16 on the turf, and I still can't believe we could have had Tepin at 9-1 that one day, Rich, on the Churchill undercard last year.
Don't start. And to have her be the winner.
That would be a good race. That would be a good race, I tell you.
All right, we're ready to go. Let me see here. We're ready to go on race number 6. And if I'm looking at it here, Joe's got the 3 single. Ray, you've got the 1 on top, with the 6 as a backup, and I've got the 4 on top with the 1 as a backup.
Yep.
Like I said, Rich, as I mentioned, and Ray wasn't here for it. I thought that Untappable was probably the least likely of the odds-on favorites to win. I'm not saying I wouldn't use her on the ticket, but if we're going to use those 3, I'd almost rather try to do 2 pick 4 tickets in this case. If we're going to single the 3 odds-on favorites because we like them, I would go that way and go deep in the last race, but punch it a few times. Or The other alternative is, I mean, I don't think we're going to be able to do it, is toss one of them out. My pick was basically a stretch only because I think Untappable is a little bit more vulnerable than the other two, and I was just looking for a price. So I mean, I guess so. So I wouldn't mind if we don't include the 3 on our ticket if we're going that route. Like I said, mine was really just a try and find somebody who I think could beat Untappable.
Well, same here. I would think that Untappable has been not reliable as chalk in the last few races.
Not lately.
Not lately. So in that race, we can look to beat her.
Well, Rich was on Odd Chocolate.
Yeah, the 4. I like the 6. And those my 2.
1, 4, 1, 4, 5, 6. 6. Sure, got 111. That's right, 11, 10. There's the 4. I mean, however you want. If you really, it's already too big. But
We can't see it. We see your face, but not the template at this point.
there we go. All right.
Yeah, see something.
There's 64. Yeah, that's another one of our $300 tickets.
No, we're not.
Yeah, 300 options.
Two things. One, we don't have enough to cover it. 2, there's no way in hell I would put it in even if we did. I think we have to narrow at some point here.
We throw all 3 of them out. We can do this ticket, throw all 3 of them out, and pray.
Well, I mean, if that, let's put it this way: if they all lose, somebody's going to go home happy, and I can guarantee one other thing. Not that actually at Churchill, because they have one of those jackpot 6s anyway, there'll be a carryover. Nobody will hit 6. Somebody will be lucky if they hit 5. If all 3 favorites lose, and let me also throw in Gunrunner in the race before it.
Yeah.
In the Matt win, if Gunrunner also happens to lose, so all 4 of them lose, forget it.
All right. So if we use the favorite in the first leg, if we go in race 6 and we use Untappable, are we just going to go with one more option besides Untappable? Or are we trying to go as deep as possible? I mean, because if we use her...
I don't know.
I can show you. I mean, if you guys want, I'll show you. Let's see. My ticket went something along the lines of.
Yeah. Yeah.
And this is like a mess. This one was big. 1, 4, 5. The 10 is in there. The 11 is in there.
Yeah.
So that was actually how I think that's my individual ticket, or what it looks like is 5 deep in the finale, with
Yeah.
a single on the Pizza Man, a single on FNX, and 2 deep in the first race. So what is that? 2 times
5. It's a $5 ticket.
It's a $5 ticket.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah,
again, the reason it's a $5 ticket is if it chalks out, if Aunt Joy wins with these 3 favorites and things like that, I'll take my $14.
Rich, I'm going to take a guess and say you'd be lucky to get $14.
I'll bet you I get it. It's still a big day, and it's still Churchill, and it's the All Stakes Big Four. So I bet you anything it's still $14 on that one.
Nah, the pool should be big, so but
Yeah, I mean,
definitely.
the one that we always make fun of with me with that pick 4 was that $11 one. That was on a Thursday at Santa Anita.
Does anybody know if there's a guaranteed pool for this?
I don't know if the pool is guaranteed, but
No,
I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I just wanted to see if anybody knew that there was a guarantee.
No, even when they chalk out, even if you got all 4 of them and they chalk out here and things like that, on a big day like this, at a big track like this, at Churchill Downs, that would not another competing day where you're not having another money day. Belmont's not out there and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
You'll still see it. Like I said, even if you get the odds on money favorites, with Aunt Joy being probably 2 to 1 or 3 to 1 at the very best, like I said, it'll be a $20 payout or a $25 payout.
Oh, we do play a few times. Like you said, punch it maybe twice.
Well, yeah. Well, but the thing about it is, it's like, do we? I mean, I know. If we're gonna punch it multiple times, I'm almost wondering if we need to just take the 3 favorites. I mean, I know Rich likes chocolate as his top choice, but I mean, do we really need like? Because I know Rich.
Yeah, exactly. I wouldn't punch it multiple times with what's the 4 horse there? Hot chocolate. Yeah.
Right. Even though it's only a $5 ticket. I mean, because technically we could punch it. We could punch that ticket 4 times, still only $20 or 3 times. I mean, we punch it 3 times, it's $15. Even with hot chocolate. And I think if hot chocolate wins, then it might be, to be honest, it might be worth punching multiple times. Because if Untappable wins and the Pizza Man wins and FNX wins, then if Crooked Stick wins, Ray, I'm gonna hit you with one. I'm gonna find a hockey stick and I'm gonna hit you with it the next time I see you.
The weird thing is that we're having a conversation about that horse, and that was the first horse that I was on in that race. So it's Crooked Stick.
Oh.
And then came to my senses.
How many out there? 11.
11. Well, again, there's 11 as of now.
Yeah.
There's no weather issues, so there shouldn't be a scratch. Just so that everybody knows, the card starts at 6 p.m. Eastern time.
Throw in the 3 and the 6 and call it a day.
So it's
Gentlemen, keep talking. I will be right back in a second.
Sure. So it's a night card. So it's not going to be. We're going to have until probably about. I think it's. Let me see. I have to figure out when the pick 4 starts. It says 8:30 Eastern. So we have a while before. I mean, I don't even know when scratches are going to come in. 2 o'clock. I have no idea. I'm not used to. I'm not used to night racing, so I don't even know what time scratches would come in. So I don't know. I'm not. I mean, I'm if we're gonna do this, I'm willing to punch this ticket. Like I said, I'd be willing to do this ticket 3 times and then just move on.
Yeah.
Like I said, I just
the 6 up there. On the 6, and put 6 in the bottom.
Okay.
Put him in. Try your luck. We could try our luck.
Well,
go to Vegas.
You mean in race 9, Ray?
Yeah. He had him on top.
So make it 6 deep in that last race, and make it a $6 ticket instead of a $5 ticket.
He had him on top. Yeah.
Well, no, Rich. Yeah, Rich was just putting in his individual ticket.
Oh, his. Okay.
Yeah, that's the only that's his ticket.
Right.
So
I see.
put in the 6. It would become a $6 ticket instead of a $5 ticket, which it's an extra buck. I'm not going to.
Oh yeah. You know, as a matter of fact, I wouldn't quibble with that. Yeah, as a matter of fact, now that you mentioned it, I would put the 6 in as well. There you go.
Yeah, I mean that's fine. I don't have a problem. So
I went crazy with the cheese whiz in the regret.
believe me, like I said, I think we were all. I mean, I was I was stretching and trying to find long shots and
yeah.
I kind of hope the 3. I mean, for my own selfish reasons, I want the 3 to win in the first leg, but I don't if I don't include them in the ticket because I'm probably not going to play this ticket myself.
Oh, okay. Do you want?
No, don't put him in. Don't put him in. Don't put because then we're multiplying the ticket. It becomes 9 instead of 6. I mean, I mean, again, like I said, it was a stretch.
Yeah, no, I was with you. We shared it all as we were handicapping like that. This was a tough one. We always, you always look for a good beatable favorite and things like that, and then you go to this race and you're like, okay, well, where are the horses that are going to beat these favorites because we're missing the quality talent to knock off an FNX. We're missing the quality talent to knock off a Superman.
Well, it's fun. I mean, it's funny if FNX wasn't in this race, wasn't in the Foster, that'd be a damn good betting race.
That'd be a really good betting race, yeah.
Really good betting race because I mean, you can make a case for Eagle, you can make a case for Majestic Harbor, you can make a case for a couple of others in there. So that so who would be the second choice in that race? That in and of itself would be interesting.
Yeah.
But
unfortunately, they've made it tougher, right? They've all been knocking against each other. A lot of those Majestic Harbors and the Eagles and the International Stars, they're all on each other's running lines. FNX is kind of like the new hitter there, and on top of that, he's better.
Yeah. Oh no doubt. So I know we started late and we're almost at our hour.
Yeah.
So this is the ticket we have on the screen now. Rich's ticket with the 6 added in is a $6 ticket. If you guys want to do it, I'll punch it 3 times. We'll have 18, and we'll move on to next Saturday.
Sound like a plan?
Okay.
I mean, I didn't know what the heck to do with this thing.
The other alternative was to let everybody do their own ticket and move along, and just say, okay, because I'm sure there might be some time where we cannot come to a consensus, and
exactly.
This would have been the first, and to be honest with you, it wouldn't have bothered me in the least. But yeah, okay, so I will punch this ticket.
This is what you call action bet.
It's a $6 ticket, so I will punch it 3 times.
Yep, and I will clean these up for you here. Let me get this.
I already have the numbers. It's 1, 4, 2, 3, 1, 4, 5, 6, 10, 11.
1, 4, 5, 6, 10, 11. There
so
we go.
So we need the 6th. So we need the 6th choice, whoever that happens to be in there.
That's what we're looking for. Exactly. We're looking for in the regret. I did not want to have any regret.
Yeah. Well, the regret would be if one of the other 5 horses wins. That will be our. Then we will regret not having put them all in. So anyway. Okay.
There'll be some words like some 4-letter word.
So 3 times 6 is $18. So that will be our ticket for this week.
And I do not believe we came up with another track to go ahead and handicap for next week's session yet. So folks, we will...
well, the Gold Cup is next week at Hollywood Park.
Hollywood Park.
I'm sorry. You see, I'm thinking back. Santa Anita.
Yeah, exactly. Right. There you go.
Santa Anita. But the thing about it is, just know that so that everybody out there knows, if you're a handicapper, you should probably know this. The honeymoon on Sunday is the last turf race at Santa Anita for this meet. They are digging up the turf course. So next week's card, if we do Santa Anita, it will be all dirt races.
All right. Oh, dope.
Right up my alley.
So no Chad Brown.
All right. Well, we're at the end of our time here. For those of you who are watching, if you enjoyed the show, we'll be back on next week when we get together and take a look at another exciting card. As you heard, Joe just brought it up there. We'll be doing the Gold Cup card at Santa Anita. All right, gentlemen. That's all the time we have for tonight. It's always a pleasure to handicap with the two of you. Happy Father's Day.
Likewise.
Happy Father's Day.
And good night. For Joe English and Ray Torado, I'm Rich Sharp. Thank you for watching Three Broke Guys Handicapping, and good night, everybody.